The second generation of the Maruti Dzire was more like a Karan Johar movie. Not much substance, yet a huge hit amongst the masses. It looked odd, had cramped interiors, it was short on features, and the quality was ordinary. Yet, it was a sedan every hatchback owner in the country aspired to own. On the other hand, the Accent was a lot more spacious, it was comfortable, and it was loaded with features. Unfortunately though, it bombed at the box office. But that's in the past now, because Maruti has come out with a brand new Dzire and Hyundai has heavily updated the Accent too. India's two top car manufacturers have locked horns once again. Let's find out who comes out on top. Okay, so neither of these cars will win any design contest. As they exploit the sub 4 meter rule, designing a 3-box car in such a tight confinement will always result in a compromise.
Surprisingly, it is the Dzire which looks the most convincing and balanced. The Aston Martin-like grille, wide haunches and a stubby boot adds flair. Even in profile, it looks like a proper sedan. It is also wider, which should help interior space considerably. But despite the large body, the Dzire is light at an impressive 980 kilos. As for the Accent, it has a well-integrated boot section too, and with wraparound tail lamps and a sportier rear bumper, it definitely looks better than before. Up front, the larger hexagonal grille is inspired from the Elantra, but it doesn't go too well in the smaller sedan. The car's narrow dimensions make the large grille and the headlamps look too big and cramped. Weighing at 1090 kilos, it is also the heavier of the two.
On the inside, the new Dzire looks fresh and upmarket. The dash design is uncluttered and the large infotainment system really grabs your eye. The display itself is crisp and is also Android Auto and Apple CarPlay enabled. The Accent 2 gets a similar infotainment system with similar features, but the fact that Hyundai has placed the screen higher up on the dashboard makes it easy to use on the move. The dash design may come across as a little too simple, but the consistency in quality gives it an edge over the Dzire. Now, both these cars have compact footprint, but they are anything but small inside.
The front seats on the Dzire are a little more supportive than the Accent. At the rear, it's much closer contest between the Hyundai and the Maruti. But the Dzire with more knee room, shoulder room and extra supportive seats come out on top. Where the Hyundai is better though is in terms of headroom and seat cushioning that is firmer just to the right amount. As far as equipment goes, the two are very closely matched, but the fact that Accent is more than 50,000 cheaper makes it a better value for money proposition.
Powering the Dzire diesel is the 1.3-litre multi-jet motor, which is a carryover from the old car. Although there is no jump in power or torque figures, we expect the new car to perform better thanks to the lighter chassis. Let's find out how does it drive.
Hear that? At idle, the engine is slightly more audible than the Accent. There is some hesitation at low revs as the fixed geometry turbocharger takes time to spool up. But still the Dzire delivers power progressively as acceleration remains smooth and jerk-free.
It's in between 1800 to 3800 RPM where the Dzire feels the best. There's a lot of punch from the motor and this makes it a great highway car. The power does start tailing off post 4000 RPM and there's no point driving it beyond that anyway because the engine starts getting noisy and sounds harsh.
The Dzire posted some really impressive times. 100 kmph comes up in 12.12 seconds and even 20 to 80 kmph in third gear is done in just 11.28 seconds. Very impressive indeed. Where the Dzire feels a bit sluggish at lower speeds, the Accent's updated 1.3-litre 3-cylinder motor has no such problems.
This Hyundai diesel engine feels zippy right from the word go and there's hardly any turbo lag to speak of. Even when you give it the stick, it responds quite well. But even more surprising is the refinement, which is just perfect. Except for some vibrations at idle, this engine runs smoothly and the sound insulation is also great and a notch above the Dzire.
But when tested against the clock, it falls short of the Dzire. It takes 16.74 seconds to reach 100 kmph. That's more than 4 seconds slower than the Dzire. This is mainly because of the engine's weak top end, as the small motor struggles when you go past 3200 rpm.
The Dzire rides over worst of road surfaces with ease, especially at high speeds. And the good thing is the ride is flat and consistent, so you don't get thrown around in the car. At low speeds, you do feel some firmness, especially when the car isn't loaded. But it never gets uncomfortable, and ride quality is definitely Dzire's strength.
The lighter chassis has not only helped the Dzire's performance, but it has taken dynamics a notch higher too. The Hyundai Accent has a cushy ride as well, but it can't match the Dzire when it comes to suspension refinement and damping consistency.
Medium-sized potholes are dispatched with ease, but the problem is when it hits a sharp edge bump where the suspension tends to thud through it. Even at high speeds, the ride never settles down really, and there's a lot more up and down motion as compared to the Dzire. On the downside, even the brake pedal feels a bit spongy, which doesn't really give you the confidence when you start going faster.
When it comes to handling, here too the well-calibrated suspension on the Dzire doesn't disappoint.
Around corners, even when pushed hard, the Dzire shows great composure and body roll is well contained. It also feels nimble thanks to the light chassis, and the well-judged controls also ensures a stress-free drive, be it in the city or on the highway.
The Accent doesn't feel too bad either, but here too it is pipped by the Maruti.
The Accent rolls a lot more around corners than the Dzire thanks to the soft suspension. Even the steering, which is light, gives you a disconnected driving feel from behind the wheel, which is good in the city, but on the highway, it feels a bit inert. The Hyundai Accent is a very likable car. It's got a great cabin, is loaded with features, is easy to drive, and the diesel engine is high on efficiency, which makes it a great value for money proposition. But the Dzire is a notch better in almost every department, and there are no major weaknesses to speak of. On top of whatever the Accent offers, the Dzire gets a more spacious cabin, it looks better, and the lighter chassis gives it great dynamics and performance too. Sure, the Accent is a lot cheaper, but the Dzire is well worth the extra cash and is a clear winner. Do let us know what you think of the two cars in the comment section below. If you are still undecided, please log on to the Carvale website and find out in detail about both these cars. And in the meantime, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to Carvale.